big homie wanted to look like a gay painter.
Look, when Jay signed his contract, the big one was with Beyonce. When he signed that contract, the marriage contract, he got trophies. Now those trophies came rolling in.
For years, 50 Cent has been firing shots and applying constant pressure on JayZ. But everything shifted when JayZ finally broke his silence. One short clip hit the internet, the timeline exploded, and suddenly the entire dynamic changed. To understand why this matters, we need to talk about the Super Bowl moment that almost never happened. Something has been quietly building in the hip-hop world for a long time, so quietly that most people completely missed it. This isn't just rap beef or social media noise. This is about power. Two heavyweight figures moving chess pieces behind the scenes, far beyond music, far beyond chart positions, and straight into boardroom influence. This isn't about who had the better verse or sold more records. It's about control, who gets access, who gets invited, and who gets shut out without ever being told why. That's the real battlefield. What made this situation even more intense is that this wasn't some old 90s beef that should have stayed buried. These were recent moves, fresh decisions. According to 50 Cent, something major happened behind closed doors that changed everything. He claims JayZ used his influence to try and block him from one of the biggest stages in America, the Super Bowl halftime show. That's not a small accusation, and it caught a lot of people completely off guard. All of this traces back to February 13, 2022, Super Bowl 56 at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California. The halftime show was being promoted as a historic cultural moment. Hip-hop finally front and center. Legends sharing one stage. Then, out of nowhere, 50 Cent appeared upside down, recreating one of the most iconic visuals from his career, and instantly stole the spotlight. The internet went crazy. Memes flooded social media. The nostalgia hit hard. But according to 50 himself, that legendary moment almost never happened. And the person he points to as the reason? JayZ. This is where the power dynamics become impossible to ignore. Since 2019, JayZ's company, Roc Nation, has been officially partnered with the NFL to oversee the Super Bowl halftime show. That partnership gives him enormous influence over who gets selected, how the show is shaped, and the overall creative direction. This isn't small power. This is the kind of power that can change an artist's legacy overnight. And according to 50 Cent, JayZ tried to use that power to keep him off the biggest stage in the country.
Z told Dr. Dre, just for people who's not up on this, or Eminem, that he didn't want you to perform part of that Super Bowl that they had a couple years ago.
That's the accusation, plain and simple. In December 2024, 50 Cent appeared on Cameron's show and laid it all out. He claimed that JayZ went straight to Dr. Dre and told him he didn't want 50 anywhere near the performance. No excuses, no sugarcoating, just a hard, flat-out no. But here's where it gets even more intense. 50 wasn't talking about scheduling conflicts or creative differences. He was accusing Jay of using his corporate influence to deliberately block another artist. That's loyalty, power, and politics all wrapped into one explosive claim.
What do you think that is?
Well, I just
threatened,
possibly. Not even threatened. I think it's just when you take the competition from, like, our culture is competitive, man. It is, but I think when it goes past the music itself to blocking things in business, then I don't understand.
And that's when the bigger picture starts to emerge. According to 50 Cent, Eminem stepped in and issued an ultimatum to the NFL. He wouldn't perform unless 50 was included. That's real loyalty. Now, pause for a second and think about what that means. One of the most hyped Super Bowl halftime shows ever almost lost Eminem. A certified legend, one of the main reasons millions tuned in. And all of that, allegedly, because JayZ didn't want 50 on that stage. This isn't small beef anymore. These are executive-level moves that could have cost networks millions and embarrassed the entire league on the biggest night of the year. 50 Cent has been breaking down the motive behind it. In a July 2024 interview with The Hollywood Reporter, he didn't hold back. "They wanted to leave me out," he said bluntly. "It was them fighting to keep me out. It should be in the NFL paperwork now. Eminem isn't performing without me." That wasn't speculation, it was direct. Then, in October 2024 on The Breakfast Club, 50 doubled down. He explained that JayZ blocked him and that early on they tried to pin the blame on the NFL to dodge the heat. But 50 says he saw the play immediately. Industry insiders confirmed exactly where the resistance was coming from. And according to 50, the reason goes far beyond music. He believes his success in television, especially his Power universe on Stars, turned him into serious competition in the entertainment business. This stopped being about Hot 16ths or first week numbers a long time ago. This is empire talk, market share, control, who shapes the future of hip-hop, and who gets quietly pushed out. 50 Cent claims it all became clear behind the scenes. The NFL took the public heat at first, but the call, he says, came from Roc Nation. The shield was up early. From his perspective, the setup was perfect. Plausible deniability, corporate distance maintained. But he wasn't fooled for a second. He knew exactly who was making the decisions and why. And what made the whole situation even louder, the silence that followed.
Past the music itself to blocking things in business, then I don't understand that. Like right now, he's not even competing for a slot. You don't have a new song out that he want to be on the top 10 or top 5, and you still competing. It just don't make sense. Like, what are we competing for?
Here's the thing. JayZ has never publicly addressed these claims. Not once. For some fans, that silence reads as class, a refusal to get dragged into drama. For others, it feels like confirmation, like the accusations might be hitting closer to home than anyone wants to admit. Either way, the lack of response only fueled the conversation. By September 2024, the chatter had spread even further. Cameron and Ma openly speculated that JayZ may have blocked Lil Wayne from performing at the 2025 Super Bowl, pointing to old tension. For many, a pattern started to emerge, corporate power and long-standing grudges colliding in plain sight. Social media was split right down the middle. Some fans backed 50, calling JayZ petty or a gatekeeper abusing his influence. Others defended Jay, reminding everyone of 50's long history of provoking conflict. The truth probably lies somewhere in between. One thing is undeniable. No official statement from the NFL, Roc Nation, or JayZ has confirmed or denied anything, and that silence keeps the story alive. But to really understand why this tension runs so deep, why JayZ would allegedly push so hard to keep 50 Cent off the Super Bowl stage, you have to go all the way back to the beginning. Every legendary hip-hop rivalry has an origin story. And this one goes back to long before the money, long before TV empires, long before boardrooms. Back in 1999, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson wasn't a global brand yet. He was a hungry rapper from Queens, stuck with a shaky deal, stacks of unreleased music, and about 40 tracks that weren't moving the needle. No buzz, no spotlight, no guarantees. Instead of waiting for permission, 50 made a bold move that would define his entire career. He drew inspiration from the notorious B.I.G. and his 1993 track Just Playing Dreams, where Biggie imagined scenarios involving R&B stars. 50 flipped that idea, darker, louder, not romance but robbery. The result? How to Rob. On that track, 50 imagined robbing nearly every major rapper and singer in the industry. Nobody was safe. And yes, JayZ was on the list. One line went, "Jigga just sold like 4 mil. He got something to live for. Don't want to put 4 through that Bentley coupe door." It was bold, reckless, impossible to ignore. The record spread like wildfire. White label vinyls hit DJs like Funkmaster Flex at Hot 97, spinning hundreds of times a week, flooding mixtapes across major cities. Overnight, everyone was talking about the fearless kid from Queens calling out over 40 artists by name. Most rappers laughed it off. Some ignored it, but JayZ didn't. He responded, and that response quietly set the tone for a rivalry that's been simmering for over 2 decades. At Hot 97's Summer Jam in 1999, JayZ stepped up and dropped a freestyle that instantly became legendary, dismissing his rival with slick wordplay and confidence. Metaphorically, JayZ framed himself as real currency while reducing 50 Cent to pocket change. A line that perfectly captured Jay's cold, calculated style. That same jab later appeared on its Hot, Some Like It Hot, from Volume 3, Life and Times of S. Carter, released in December 1999 and produced by Timbaland. Jay doubled down, bragging about his dominance and making it clear he saw himself on a completely different level in the game. 50 didn't let that slide. In 2000, he fired back with Be a Gentleman, a direct response that questioned Jay's image and street credibility, calling him out for playing a role rather than living it. He mocked the notion that charts and fame automatically commanded respect, making it clear he wasn't intimidated. The back and forth could have escalated even further, but real life intervened. On May 24, 2000, 50 Cent was shot 9 times outside his grandmother's house in Queens. He survived against the odds, but the fallout was severe. Columbia Records dropped him, and his debut album, Power of the Dollar, was shelved. That moment paused the rivalry. While 50 spent the next 2 years healing, rebuilding, and flooding the streets with mixtapes, JayZ kept his momentum strong, particularly with The Blueprint in 2001. The tension stayed quiet, but it never disappeared. Everything shifted in 2002. 50 Cent returned louder than ever, signing with Eminem and Dr. Dre under Shady/Aftermath. When Get Rich or Die Tryin' dropped in February 2003 and sold 872,000 copies in its first week, the balance of power changed overnight. Hits like In the Club and 21 Questions went diamond level, dominating radio across America. At that point, there was no doubt 50 Cent was legitimate. The real question became whether anyone could slow him down, and JayZ clearly saw it coming. In a 2013 interview on The Breakfast Club, JayZ admitted he warned his own Rockefeller artists ahead of time. "I'm telling you, y'all better flood the market, put out a lot of music, because 50 Cent is coming." That wasn't hate, it was fear mixed with respect. What followed in 2003 was an awkward truce. The two appeared together in a Reebok commercial, co-headlined the Rock the Mic tour, and even crossed paths creatively. Jay rapped over 50's beats, while 50's G-Unit sneakers reportedly outsold Jay's Carter line by a wide margin, according to 50 himself. But beneath the surface, the tension never really disappeared. 50 continually framed himself as the bigger global force, pointing to numbers that told a very loud story. And he didn't stop there. 50 has also been blunt about what he sees as JayZ's biggest flaw: avoiding direct confrontation. According to him, Jay prefers to put others out front rather than handle issues personally, a critique that even spilled into his public image. 50 once famously called JayZ the coolest punk in hip-hop, capturing the mix of respect and critique that has defined their long-running rivalry. Hip-hop observers often note a sharp contradiction. Polish and corporate calm don't always earn street respect. That's the message 50 Cent has always made clear. He sees JayZ as a chess player, not a checkers player, someone who avoids direct confrontation, relying on corporate structures and proxies to handle the messy work. Whether that's smart strategy or a flaw depends on who you ask. But that difference in style is at the heart of their rivalry. And that rivalry hasn't stayed confined to music. In 2004, 50 Cent made a move that changed how artists viewed business forever. He partnered with Glasso, taking equity instead of a flat endorsement check. When Coca-Cola bought the brand in 2007 for $4.1 billion, 50 reportedly walked away with $60 to $100 million after taxes. That payday became legendary. That same year, JayZ sold the rights to Rocawear to Iconic's brand group for $204 million in cash. Both deals were huge wins, but 50 never stopped framing his vitamin water payout as the smarter, bigger play. The business shade between them continued as both men built empires, competing for the same cultural space. Then came 2007, when Kanye West released Graduation on the same day 50 dropped Curtis. It became the most talked about sales battle in hip-hop history. Kanye won decisively, and 50 accused JayZ of pulling strings behind the scenes through his role at Def Jam, giving Kanye every advantage. That accusation fit perfectly into 50's long-running narrative of Jay as a power player who never gets his hands dirty. In recent years, 50 has pushed the narrative even further, moving into personal territory that has shocked fans. If the Super Bowl claims raised eyebrows, his takes on JayZ's Grammy success sparked an entirely new wave of controversy. 50 has argued that JayZ's 25 Grammy wins, the most of any rapper, are more connected to his marriage to Beyoncé than to his music alone. That accusation landed loud and stirred debate. To be fair, JayZ already had 4 Grammy wins before collaborating with Beyoncé, not just one as 50 sometimes suggests. But where 50's argument gains traction is in the timing. 21 of JayZ's 25 total wins came after 2004, just as his partnership with Beyoncé, joint projects, and polished mogul image fully took shape. 50 ties this into what he sees as JayZ's carefully managed image shift. In his view, the Grammys reward perception and presentation as much as the music itself. He often cites Tupac Shakur, who never won a Grammy despite his massive cultural impact, as proof that the system favors safe, marketable figures over raw voices. 50 himself has 3 Grammys, which may explain some skepticism, but he frames his critique as larger than personal grievances, positioning himself as someone calling out an industry that prioritizes relationships and branding over authenticity. He hasn't held back on style and image either. 50 has suggested that JayZ modeled his mystique after Jean-Michel Basquiat, mocked his appearance, questioned his authenticity, and even labeled 444 golf course music, implying it drifted far from the streets that made HOV famous. And yes, the memes followed quickly. The irony isn't lost on hip-hop fans. 2 men from nothing, JayZ from the Marcy Projects in Brooklyn, 50 Cent from the streets of Queens. Both built billion-dollar empires from raw ambition. On paper, there should be mutual respect. Instead, nearly 25 years later, they remain locked in a Cold War that has evolved from rap bars to boardrooms to social media jabs. What's striking is how consistent 50 has been in framing it all.